Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cooking with Corona. Although, as you'll know, if you've been watching up to this point, we're not actually cooking with Corona. We are, in fact, cooking in Tier 4 now, I think we are. That is, of course, unless you're suffering from COVID-19 while you're watching this, in which case I suppose we are, in fact, cooking with Corona, with respect to connotations that appear within that sentence. Now, watch one, watch all. Today we're going to be making gluten-free pastry. I need to do this because Christmas is coming up and a member of my family is gluten intolerant, so I have to make pastry in gluten-free way. One of them is also a vegan-friendly way. The other isn't. And what we're going to need, first of all, is some means of measuring. Alright, vegan-friendly stuff first, I suppose. Gram flour or Besan flour that's made out of chickpeas. And you will require 1.5 cups or 204 grams of this stuff. Probably slightly more than I said, but still. There's a teaspoon of salt. Probably put in a little more, actually, given that. Following multiple recipes here, I'll link them all, but one of them suggests putting the salt and the gram flour together in a food blender. I'll just use a mixer. £59 ml of olive oil. Something like that. Actually, that looks more like 70, but still, we'll put that in too. Mix that in. Got some cold water here, and I'm going to put in around just under 120 millilitres of this into what look now like little breadcrumbs. To look more and more like dough now, isn't it? Now, last time I made pastry, it was the rather embarrassing, well, it wasn't the embarrassing blueberry pie, but it wasn't the lattice blueberry pie that I really wanted. Nonetheless, something that I lacked on that particular occasion really was a rolling pin. You may recall I did it entirely by hand, just flattened the thing. But now I actually have a rolling pin, and all I need to do is flour it with the gram flour as I would for ordinary flour. Just like this, and flour the board as well. I'm really going to hope this works. I've floured it. This is what the dough looks like. Nice and yellow. Now we make it nice and flat. Now, I got this dough out of the fridge that you saw me put in. I actually found in at least one recipe you don't need to roll it. All you need to do is get out little bits that are flat. Now, depending on how vegan you are, you can use butter or margarine to grease these slots in which you're going to put this. Of course, if you're making one big pie, put it in something like this. Otherwise, since I'm making mince pies today, put them in these little slots. Grease first. Very well. Here's this little bit of dough. I'm going to pat it and prick it and mark it with B. Now, I'm not going to mark it with B, so I can bake it myself, which people in the days when that poem was written could not, because they had no oven. I'm going to place it. Really hope that the grease that I put in here is going to help it come out. I fear it will not, but still, it's always it's always nice to be optimistic, I guess. They don't really look as though they're going to slip out too easily, but still, prick them. They look, well, I'm doubtful, but whatever. Cover them with tin foil or aluminium foil, as I believe this is, and put them in the oven. Should be preheated, but it isn't. 180 degrees in there for 15 minutes. Alright, here we are. Looks about done, doesn't it? Now there's the not so very well made gram flour version of the pastry. Here it is with coconut flour. I'm just going to measure it out here. Just over 200 grams. Right, that's the coconut flour then. 2 eggs. Remember, this is not the vegan version. That's the second egg. I also put some vanilla and virgin olive oil in there, a teaspoon and a tablespoon respectively. I think I put a bit more than a teaspoon of vanilla, but exclude the vanilla if you're making savoury pastry. Little by little, I'm going to add with a mixer. I'm going to mix in the coconut. And once it's all in, I'll add the butter. Now, they look more. Yeah, they're very crumbly, but I'm going to do what I can towards putting mincemeat inside them. They're more like mince crumbles than mince pies, but still we'll put them in. Cover them in egg yolk first, of course. That, my friends, are what the gluten-free pastry looks like. 10 minutes, I guess, for about 200 degrees Celsius. Following multiple recipes here. I'll link them all, but one of them suggests putting the salt and the gram flour together in a food blender. I'll just use a mixer. And it's plugged in at the wall. Where's the lid gone? Got some cold water here, and I'm going to put in around just under 120 millilitres. Measure it out first, of course.